Is it time to reveal your real magic and become seen, known, and valued? Hello, and welcome to this week's Visionary Voices Deep Dive Live. I hope you're having a great week. Hi, and today we are talking about nothing about who you are is wrong. And if we haven't met before, hi, I'm Runak. I'm Deep Dive Visibility Mentor, and I love to support creatives and soulful business owners to really clear your blocks to showing up fully as who you are, so you can give your gifts and share your wisdom in the world. And if you're here joining us live or watching the replay, just type in hello or replay and just share your experience as you go through this today. So today we are going to be exploring what it means for you to live with the belief that nothing about who you are is wrong. And I'm going to guide you through a powerful poetry activation to bring this alive and to ignite new possibilities. So if you haven't experienced that before with me, you're in for a treat. If you have, I'm going to be sharing a couple of poems to really ignite the energies of what this means for you, so you can sit back and go deep inside and really experience what shifts when you swim in the soup of a new possibility that nothing about who you are is wrong. So it's a powerful experience. And then just, we'll explore as part of that what opens up for you when you release these layers of inner judgment, because it's a process, it's an unfolding process, and align yourself with your own natural unfoldings. It's a process of deep self-acceptance, rather than judging or fighting with who you are. So let me just see. Yeah, so type in the comments, say hello if you're here, and I'd love to connect with you live as we go through. Because what I know for myself and for so many people in my community is that when you're on a path of personal development, of healing, of growth, of learning, of evolution, how do we do that? How do we keep on growing and changing and up-leveling while at the same time seeing ourselves as whole and complete, exactly as who we are? So, because I know when I first started in this path of personal development, I was so excited to explore, I can shift things that I thought wasn't possible to shift. And I still have that experience of shifting things that I thought were not possible to shift. And I just had a shopping list of all the things that I wanted to fix about myself. I'm like, oh, it's great, I can sort out all of these issues. And then eventually I realized that that's not a very kind way to see myself, just to kind of make a list of all the things that are wrong, and that I want to fix about myself, and would love to get free of. It can hold a lot of judgment. So, and I then embraced the process of, well, whatever is ready to be brought into greater wholeness, it will reveal itself to me. I don't have to go looking for it. I don't have to, know that these things need fixing. It's like, when it's time, it'll pop up, it'll tell me. And I've been recently diving in even deeper into this belief that nothing about who you are is wrong, because it was an invitation. I'm doing a Wild Voices facilitator training with beautiful Kate Wolf, and she invited us on that training to live with this belief. And for me, what was present for me with that invitation was that it's an aspirational belief. So yeah, okay, Donald, thank you. Nice to see you. Welcome. And yeah, so what I've been living with this aspirational belief, and let me know what resonates with you, of but nothing about who you are is wrong. And for me, it's one to walk with and return to as, you know, I reveal and love into wholeness the various parts of me that don't yet believe it, because I discover parts of me that believe that's true, and other parts that kind of go, oh, but you can't mean me. There's something so wrong and shameful or hidden about me that we don't mean it. So, and why I'm sharing this with you as part of my work around visibility is because these beliefs that there's something wrong with us can easily feed the not enough monster, the perfectionist monster, the pleaser monster inside you that causes you to doubt yourself, to hold back and to play small and to not show up fully to share your gifts. So, and this can lead to the thoughts of who am I to do this? You know, the kind of, oh, you know, I'm going to keep my head down and stay safe. The feelings of I'm not ready, I'm not perfect enough, that can all lead to procrastination. And I hear from so many of you that this is what comes up for you a lot. And I know my own experience is at working through these layers. And we also have, I see Donald is here from Ireland, we have ancient programs of guilt and shame. There's a particular flavor of that in each culture, but these are very, very old. And guilt is I did something wrong, you know, therefore I feel guilty. Shame is I am something wrong. I am wrong. So what we're doing, exploring this topic today, is busting the layers of shame, and they can be buried so deep in our subconscious and really freeze us up when you know, we freeze rather than flow into showing up as who we are. So this is why I really want to explore this topic with you today and just invite you to reflect for a moment. What if you truly believed that nothing about who you are was wrong, or held this belief as a North Star that you can return to, and that will bring you back on track, that will bring you back to yourself when you get lost, that it's a belief to live with, to guide you to where you want to go. Yeah, and then you can show up fully, perfectly imperfect, to give your gifts. So just share with me in the comments, you know, what do you find challenging about living with the belief that nothing about who you are is wrong, or where has this been coming up for you? What's your experience in your life around this as well? So, and a story with a client of mine, it was last year, but also, you know, into this year, the end of last year, there was a client where I prescribed, and she chose this poem, the first poem that I'm going to share with you today. And it really brought up for her, she noticed how she'd been living with a deep belief that somehow her very existence was wrong. And she, you know, saw that she'd been living with that her whole life. And it was really impacting what she could receive, what she could give herself, and how she could show up with her sacred work. And as she lived and walked with and explored the poem and the beliefs that it, you know, brought to the surface and ignited, something shifted deep within her. And she got in touch with her purpose, with her mission in life. And she also, you know, she gave herself permission to really explore her own path in life. And even though she got in touch with, this is who I am, this is my purpose, this is what I'm here to do, she also felt like, and where I am now is absolutely perfect. There was no pushing, there was no need to, make that all happen tomorrow. She really accepted so much about herself and her life and opened up also to call in love, to call in a beautiful, loving partner. And that's often a sign of deep self-acceptance, when you can really receive the right person who loves you and appreciates you exactly as you are, as well as knowing, how she could recreate her website and her offerings and how it influenced her work. So just invite you to take a moment, before we dive in to our poetry activation. What if you could relax? If you could relax and float on the belief that nothing about who you are is wrong, what might change for you? Even if nothing changed externally, what might shift inside? So as you reflect on that, I'm going to support us to shift state and come into a deeper place for our poetry dive, the poetry activation I'm offering you today. And just take a moment to take some deeper breaths, breathing your awareness down into your heart, into your belly, into your hips. And just sensing your legs, your feet, your connection deep into the earth. And knowing that you don't have to do anything, you don't have to know anything, you don't have to understand anything. I invite you to let these poems, these reflections, just to wash over you like music. It's not school poetry. You don't have to understand it or figure it out. Just let it connect, let it wash over you like music, and see what surfaces as we explore this. I've spent many years learning how to fix life, only to discover at the end of the day that life is not broken. I've spent many years learning how to fix life, only to discover at the end of the day that life is not broken. There is a hidden seed of greater wholeness in everyone and everything. We serve life best when we honor and befriend it, when we listen before we act. In befriending life, we do not make things happen according to our own design. We uncover something that's already happening in us and around us and create conditions that enable it. Everything is moving towards its place of wholeness, always struggling against great odds. Everything has a deep dream of itself and its own fulfillment. I've spent many years learning how to fix life, only to discover at the end of the day that life is not broken. There is a hidden seed of greater wholeness in everyone and everything. We serve life best when we water it and befriend it, when we listen before we act. In befriending life, we do not make things happen according to our own design. We uncover something that is already happening in us and around us and create conditions that enable it. Everything is moving towards its place of wholeness, always struggling against odds. Everything has a deep dream of itself and its fulfillment. So just noticing what comes up, how many years have you spent learning how to fix life? What is it to discover, to choose the perspective that life is not broken? What hidden seed of greater wholeness in everyone and everything can you see? What have you noticed in your own life that when you water that seed, when you befriend that seed, when you listen to that seed, what shifts, what unfolds in this way of relating to yourself and to life? And in this way of befriending, noticing it's not about making things happen according to our own design, the design of the self that believes that it's broken and that it needs to fix something, because that's the self that is pushing and proving and hustling, hiding. Then, notice how you can uncover something that's already happening. So there's nothing wrong, nothing is broken, it's already perfect. And there's something happening. There's something already happening in you and around you. And your role is to create conditions that align with that enable that, natural urge towards growth. So you can beautifully dance with what's unfolding without making it wrong, without making yourself wrong. Everything is moving towards its place of wholeness, always struggling against odds. Yes, there can be struggling in this. The seed has to struggle to come up and break through from the earth. A bit of effort is necessary. Not all seeds will sprout. Not all sprouts, will come to full term. And there is also that growth path, but we can embrace that without seeing that there's something wrong. Everything has a dream of itself and its fulfillment. So it's just the dream of the acorn is to become an oak. What dream is awakening with you in you? How can you see your dream as meaning that there's nothing wrong, but there is a coming into wholeness, greater hidden seed of greater wholeness, and a deep dream of itself and of its fulfillment, really achieving potential to whatever level is possible. And I love this Lyra saying, I applied this poem to my body. Nothing about my body is broken. Oh, I love that. It's already perfect. And it has its own dream of wholeness when I can support, which I can support, instead of demanding that it comply to my ideal. There's so true, Lyra, and there's so much wisdom in that, in embracing who you are and where your body is, and noticing what it's inviting you into. I experienced that earlier this year when my body was down with COVID for a good number of weeks and more than I would like. And I really had to surrender to that process. And people who are living with chronic conditions it can be a massive teacher, an invitation into a greater wholeness on another level. And so the next poem I want to share it's taking this theme of the seed and the tree metaphor. So, what if we could see how the seed grows into the tree as a metaphor for our evolving self, and appreciate each stage without making it wrong. The seed doesn't think it's wrong because it's not a sprout. It's like, yeah, I'm a seed. This is where I am. Even while it's carrying that potential within it, the sprout doesn't think it's wrong because it's a sapling. The sapling grows into a young tree. The young tree, if it's lucky, not all saplings make it, grows into a full-grown tree. The tree matures, it creates life, it creates seeds, it creates sprouts, it creates saplings of its own. The cycle starts again. The tree might live for hundreds of years or thousands of years. Growing into the potential, and the full potential of the tree is often not realized, which does not take anything away from the tree and every stage of its growth. The tree also, it loses branches. It's shaped by its location and where it grows, whether it's in the forest or in an open field, and all of its experience. It knows how to heal itself. So this next poem is called The Sycamore by Wendell Berry, and the last poem is Everything Has a Deep Dream by Rachel Naomi Remen. I will share the poems in the comments, the titles. And so just really allow yourself to receive this next poem about the sycamore. In the place that is my own place, whose earth I am shaped in and must bear, there is an old tree growing, a great sycamore that is a wondrous healer of itself. In the shape that, in the place that is my own place, whose earth I am shaped in and must bear, there is an old tree growing, a great sycamore that is a wondrous healer of itself. Fences have been tied to it, nails driven into it, hacks and whittles cut in it. The lightning has burned it. There is no year it has flourished in that has not harmed it. There is no year it has flourished in that has not harmed it. There is a hollow in it that is its death, though its living brims whitely over the lip of darkness and flows outwards. Over all its scars has come the seamless white of the bark. It bears the gnarls of its history healed over. Over all its scars has come the seamless white of the bark. It bears the gnarls of its history healed over. It has risen to a strange perfection in the warp and bending of its long growth. It has gathered all accidents into its purpose. It has become the intention and radiance of its dark fate. It has gathered all accidents into its purpose. It has become the intention and radiance of its dark fate. It is a fact, sublime, mystical, and unassailable. In all the country, there is no other like it. I recognize it in its principle, an indwelling the same as itself and greater that I would be ruled by. I see that it stands in its place and feeds upon it and is fed upon and is native and maker. In the place that is my own place, whose earth I am shaped in and must bear, there is an old tree growing, a great sycamore that is a wondrous healer of itself. Fences have been tied into it, nails driven into it, hacks and whistles cut in it. The lightning has burned it. There is no year it has flourished in that has not harmed it. There is a hollow in it that is its death, though its living brims whitely at the lip of the darkness and flows outward. Over all its scars has come the seamless white of the bark. It bears the gnarls of its history healed over. It has risen to a strange perfection in the warp and bending of its long growth. It has gathered all accidents into its purpose. It has become the intention and radiance of its dark fate. It is a fact, sublime, mystical, and unassailable. In all the country, there is no other like it. I recognize in it a principle, an indwelling, the same as itself and greater, that I would be ruled by. I see that it stands in its place and feeds upon it and is fed upon and is native and maker. So just breathing that in, notice what arises in you in response to these words. In the place that is my own place, whose earth I am shaped in and must bear. What is your own place? What is the earth that you have been shaped in and must bear? How are you and your life, the natural life force, a wondrous healer of yourself? So all the things that have harmed you, even as you flourish, the fences cut in, the nails, the hacks, the lightning that burned you, where are the gnarls of your history healed over that have risen to a strange perfection, in your growth? And it has gathered all accidents into its purpose. How is it that all the accidents, all of the harm, all of the soil that you are planted in, the opportunities you've had, the weather that's shaped you, that you gathered all of those accidents into your purpose, and it has become the intention and radiance of its dark fate. All of these things have shaped you. Nothing about who you are is wrong. Even as you stand there as a beautiful, imperfect, gnarled, old tree, nothing about who you are is wrong. In all the country, in all the world, there is no other like it. There is no other like you. Yes, over the scars grow the bark. You bear the gnarls of your history healed over. But there is something that's mystical, that's sublime, that's unassailable, and a principle that you can live by. that you can stand in your place and feed upon it and be native to yourself. Be native in the place where you are now and know that you are maker. It's not just done to you. You are responding to all of that and becoming who you are. So just take a moment to breathe and notice what opens up for you here. These poems called Everything Has a Deep Dream by Rachel Naomi Remen, which is the first poem I've shared, and the second one was Sycamore by Wendell Berry. So just notice what is letting go, what is opening up for you in this reframe. You know, when you release, you know, the layers of judgment that we have because we live in a world that's set up to, you know, make wrong. But what would become possible for you? What does become possible for you as you embrace this belief that nothing about who you are is wrong? And how might you show up? What might you do differently? And what will become possible in our world? What will become possible in our world if we all embraced this act of choosing, of believing, of leaning in to a new way of being, that nothing about who we are is wrong? So I'd love to know what you are taking away from this. Share your insights, your ahas, and any questions you have in the comments. And if you would love to have your own personal poetry prescription so that you can drop into deeper acceptance of exactly who you are and where you are right now, reach out to me, because I offered this, you know, in my coaching programs, and I offer a mini coaching package called the Visibility Superpowers Experience that's centered around that, and also helping you to clear deep blocks and activate, you know, the truth and the core of who you are. So that's on my website at renikaken.com/coaching. I'll put the link in there. That's all for this week. I really look forward to hearing from you and what you're taking away from this. Have a great week, and I will see you again soon. Bye for now.